So given that I'll finish up 2022 by reading 75 books, that's nothing compared to what I've got planned for next year. I'm going to be super busy. What's up guys, welcome back to Unlimited Reads. My name is Chris and today I'll be sharing with you my reading plans for 2023. Now I thought 2022 was busy, but that's nothing compared to what I've got planned for next year. Now at the time of filming I'm about to start my 74th book of 2022. My Goodreads challenge goal was 75 books, so after 2 more books I will have achieved my goal for the year, which I'm really happy about. 2023 I've decided to up the ante and read 85 books, so I wanted to increase the challenge by 10 books and we'll see how we go. But there is a lot to get through. There is so many books I want to read next year, it is just not funny. So I thought I'd start by sharing with you the classics that I plan on reading next year. Now I read some great classics this year and I want to keep that trend going and keep growing as a reader and stepping outside my comfort zone even further. So let's start with the first one, which is the massive one, which is happening next month, which is, if I can lift the thing, The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. I am really looking forward to reading this book. I'm doing a read along with a couple of friends of mine, Scott from the Bookish Brides and Nathan from the Rambling Reviewer. We've decided to get together and read it together and maybe do a couple of live videos to compare notes. I'm not quite sure on how many pages we are going to allot to read every week, but we'll note out those details shortly. And by reading this one, and if I get through it, it'll be the longest book I've ever read. It's so respected, it's so revered as a classic, and everyone who talks about it on booktube absolutely loves it, and it's certainly going to be a bucket list read that I'd like to check off. So really looking forward to getting that one done at the beginning of 2023. The next book I want to read, and I'm not sure which part of the year I'm going to read this one yet, but that will be Frank Herbert's Dune. This was the book that I was deciding between this one and The Godfather last month, and I had both of them in my hand in the bookstore and went with The Godfather. So only just this week I picked this one up, and I really like the SF Masterworks version of this one with the cloth binding, nice clear text, and I really like the cover art a lot. But I did actually have an old copy previously. I think it's the movie tie-in cover of this one, but the print is really small and hard for me to read, and I thought, well, I'd look forward to reading the Masterworks version. So it's definitely going to be another bucket list read that I would check off. Next one I want to read is Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. This was supposed to be read this year but just didn't get to it, so I've reserved that for next year, so looking forward to that one. The next one I've got is, I don't have a copy with me at the moment, I have to buy it. That'll be George Orwell's Animal Farm, which is a fairly short read, so I should get through that one pretty quickly, but looking forward to that. And next I've got, let me see, William Golding's Lord of the Flies. Another one that was meant to be read this year and just didn't get to it, so I have earmarked it for 2023 as well, and hopefully, yeah, looking forward to getting stuck into that one. The next one I've got is, I don't have a copy of this one, The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. This year I read Of Mice and Men and absolutely loved it, so I'm really looking forward to reading a little bit more Steinbeck, and a logical choice is The Grapes of Wrath, which should be really good. Another one I don't have with me is Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. I'm looking forward to reading that one. I do need to buy it, but it's certainly another good classic to have under the old belt, and really spread myself out in terms of exploring new things in the world of classic books. The next one, I'm going to be reading The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This particular book I got for free recently in a box of books I brought home, and there were a couple of treasures inside, and I thought, well, look, you know, this one I'm going to add to my list as well, which is a true classic. And the next one I have got, there's two here. Now I have some lovely vintage versions of these ones, and I'm going to read these two back to back. The first one is Jack London's Call of the Wild. and this is the Signet Classic, and of course White Fang. Both books are fairly short. I'd love to read them straight after one another. They're going to be, I've heard really good things about both books, and certainly really good examples of what makes a classic book, and really looking forward to that. And the last classic I'm going to read, this one I'd class as a modern classic. It could be general fiction, but my logic is, given that it's graduated to the Penguin orange covers, that is The Power of One by Bryce Courtney. I've just bought this beautiful version a couple of weeks ago. It's in really good nick. It's hardcover. It's got the plastic coating on it to protect it. It doesn't look like it's ever been cracked open. I bought this for about $14, and I just saw it there. I really wanted to read it, and I just wanted to grab it, but the pages are really tight, so I'd be very surprised if it's actually been read. But certainly a really good one to say that I've read it if I've been asked. So I've got a really good lineup of classics for next year, and I'm really looking forward to all of them, and looking forward to sharing with you my thoughts and reactions on each book. So yeah, really good stuff. Now let's look at some standalones in general. I've got as part of a potential reading blog, I have House of Leaves, which is a very scary and intimidating book. My younger brother recommends it to me, and it's a very divisive book according to quite a few people, so it's interesting. Going to be interesting to see what camp I fall in with that one. I'm also going to be reading Varney the Vampire, which is a fairly large book that I brought recently as well. It's thick as it's like a textbook. It's the bind up of the Penny Dreadfuls from the 1800s about Varney the Vampire, and that was recommended on a fellow booktuber's channel, which it got me really interested, and yeah, looking forward to reading that. And I'm also going to be reading the first book in the Asian saga by James Clavell, and that is Shogun, which is a beast of a book, which is certainly one I'm really looking forward to, and can't wait to get stuck into that one. That is part of the potential reading vlog I'll be doing as well. I've got a poll up on the channel under the community tab, and I'm looking for votes on what my reading vlog should be. So there we go. And what else? And look, whatever new releases are due out this year as well are high on the list. I'm not quite sure what those are. I would anticipate Stephen King will release something new. I think Dean Koontz has got one coming in January called The House at the End of the World, which I'm really keen about. There will be another couple of James Pattersons this year. I think there will be another Detective Michael Bennett, another Private. I believe there will be other standalones that James Patterson puts out, so I'll be including those in this list. And just a note on what I'm going through at the moment. So I remember last year when I was predicting what I was going to be reading for 2022, I went too big. I said I was going to finish Malazan Book of the Fallen, I was going to finish all the Jim Butchers, I was going to finish this, that and the other, and start Game of Thrones. I went a bit crazy. It turns out that those plans went down the toilet because I got distracted by other things. So what I'm about to go through next is the series books I want to read, and I'm being a little bit more conservative about them. And what I mean by that is the first series I'll mention is the Skulduggery Plesant series that I read the first book earlier this year, only recently actually, and ended up really enjoying that. The Skulduggery books, I've got the first 10 books in the series, and I thought, look, I'm just going to be a little bit conservative and not say I'm going to read all the Skulduggery Plesant books, because it may not come to be. What I thought I would do, there are 15 books in the series in total, and I thought, well, let's just start by trying to read books 1 to 8. Which is a little bit more achievable than me getting on my high horse and saying, oh, I'm going to read all the Skulduggery Plesant books and all this, that and the other. It's just not realistic, because I'm predicting next year I'll get distracted, my taste will change, my moods will change on any given month on what I want to read. I might think of doing a few Skulduggery Plesant books in, say, March, but that might change. I might decide to do another series, but so I just want to say from the outset that I'll be just being a little bit more conservative and not as ambitious, and we'll see how that goes. The next series I want to talk about is one that I've brought recently as well. I've brought a beautiful box set of these ones, and I am going to be reading the complete Wizard of Oz series in paperback. I bought this beautiful box set just not long ago, this week actually, and got it from my local bookstore. They were kind enough to order it in for me. Wizard of Oz, the complete paperback collection, contains all 15 books, and I think there's about 3 books in every volume. There are 5 volumes in total. I'm going to show them to you one at a time now. They're absolutely sensational. I'm so glad I ordered these. So we've got volume 1, which includes the first 3 books: Wonderful Wizard of Oz, The Marvelous Land of Oz, and Ozma of Oz. We have the second volume, which has Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, The Road to Oz, and the Emerald City of Oz. These are just beautiful. The third volume, we have The Patchwork Girl of Oz, TikTok of Oz, and The Scarecrow of Oz. Just look at this cover art. And I thought, if I'm going to read the Wizard of Oz books, I want to read them all. And they look fairly easy to read. The print is beautiful and sharp. And volume number 4 is Rinky Tink in Oz, The Lost Princess of Oz, and The Tin Woodman of Oz. Look at this. Absolutely fantastic. And the final volume is The Magic of Oz, Glinda of Oz, and The Royal Book of Oz, which was by Ruth Plumley Thompson. And there's the final version there, the final volume there. Absolutely fantastic. I'm not going to read them all back to back. That'd be a little bit too ambitious, but I think I want to get these started fairly quickly in the first half of the year, because they, you know, I read the original, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, when I was a kid, and remember liking it, but I have no knowledge at all about the other books in the series, and I really want to find out what it is all about. So looking forward to starting those in the first half of next year. The next series, Harry Potter, I started that series this year as well. I read books 1 and 2. I think it's pretty realistic for me to say that I would like to finish books 3 to 7, which isn't a massive commitment. It's only 4 books we're talking about. It sounds pretty achievable, and I should get those done by the end of next year. The next series is the Roy Grace series by Peter James. I've progressed pretty well with the series. There are now 16 books in the series in total. I've read 10 of them, so I would like to finish those. And again, that's not a big ask. It's only about 5 or 6 books, which once I finish that, I'll be pretty happy, because I'm really enjoying how Roy Grace's story is unfolding across all the books at the moment, and I want to get into those fairly quickly next year as well. Now, I also started the Alex Cross series by James Patterson this year as well. I read the first book, absolutely enjoyed it, and there are, I think, they're up to book 30 at the moment, I think, in the series. Now, I'm not going to say I'm going to read every James Patterson's Alex Cross book next year. It's not going to happen. What I thought I would do is, why not put a little bit less pressure on myself and read books 2 to 8. That's achievable, and I should enjoy them. I'm also going to reading a little bit more manga as well. I have started the Kurosagi Corpse Delivery Service this year. I do have the Volume 2 Omnibus there to read, which I might even squeeze that in this month if I have time. But there are 5 omnibus editions of that series at the moment, so I obviously have to read the remaining 3, and I also want to read Death Note next year as well. So I haven't decided whether I'm going to get the big bind-up version or the individual volumes. I'm not quite sure, but either way, Death Note is certainly on the cards to finish next year. And I'm also going to read a little bit of Agatha Christie as well. I figured I'll start with the Hercule Poirot series, and I thought, what better place to start than The Murder on the Orient Express. Now, because I've got this, I bought it cheap in a second-hand bookstore. It's not the first book in this series. I think it's about the 10th book. The Mysterious Affair at Styles is the first one, so I figure I'll read this one first and then I'll start from the beginning. And yeah, looking forward to it. I've never read Agatha Christie in my life, She's meant to be amazing. I know that Nerdy Kathy, she's a fellow Australian booktuber, has read and bought a lot of Agatha Christie books, and she loves them. And I think it's high time I try it as part of stepping out of my comfort zone. Okay, and finally, I'm going to be looking at, you know, in light of releasing the Why You Should Read the Jack Ryan series of books earlier, I thought I might just do a Jack Reacher reading project, and over the course of 2023 try and read all the books again. Now, it's going to be either a case of just reading a couple of Lee Child books a month, or one a month, or nominating a couple of months throughout the year where it'll be just a Jack Ryan reading month, where I could potentially read 4 or 5 Jack Reacher books in a month. So we're going to see how that goes, but it's certainly something I want to do because there's not a whole lot of Lee Child Jack Reacher content out there on booktube, and I figure if I do some book reviews it'll get people interested in the series, because I want people to read the series. It is amazing. Jack Reacher is one of the best thriller characters ever written, and I just want to be an evangelist of this series. I just love it so much, and I look forward to a Jack Reacher book every year. A new Jack Reacher book coming next year is The Secret, which is the last collaboration between Lee Child and Andrew Child, and I just can't wait for that one. But I'll certainly be preaching the series, so stay tuned for that. So that is a taste of what my year looks like for 2023. Lots and lots of books to read. There are going to be more that I can't think of at the moment, and obviously books haven't been released yet that will no doubt pop up on my radar, but as that happens I'll let you know. But certainly looking forward to a very, very busy 2023 on the reading front, and just cannot wait. But I've got to get 2022 out of the way first, but yeah, really looking forward to next year. So that is it for my reading plans for 2023. Thank you very much for watching. Please let me know in the comments below what you're planning to read next year. Are you planning to start or finish a new series? Are you starting to finish off annoying books that you feel you need to before you move on? Tell me all about it. I'm always up for a chat. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time guys, I'll see you later.